completely changing the Second Amendment. Maybe it's redefining it to certain types of guns. Also, I think just by looking at the facts, I mean, back then, there were less crimes with the different types of guns. And like recently we've had, in the past couple months, we've already had 4 shootings. Also, I think it's important for us to take away the fear. I think people like the Second Amendment because they are fearful of things like Sandy Hook happening to their children. So I think we have to take away the fear of guns, the fear of people getting attacked first. And then I think people will be comfortable with changing the Second Amendment.
Thank you. We're going to move on to our next topic now, which is gay rights. And we're going to start with candidate Glacken. Do you believe that civil partnerships held by gay couples hold the same value as the institution of marriage?
Yes, completely. You can't decide who you're going to love. You have no clue who you're going to fall in love with. So it could be another woman. It could be another man. But it doesn't matter. If you are together in a household binded by a legal document, why can't you get the same rights as a man and a woman who are binded by the same legal document? That's just personalizing it, because it's not destroying the institution of marriage. It's helping it. If I needed help from my husband, who unfortunately is deceased right now, I would have been able to get it. But I know women who are married to other women who can't get that same benefits. It just blows my mind that people are so unwilling to help them, because the benefits are necessary for life.
So you're saying that civil partnerships held by gay couples are the same value as the institution of marriage. Then you said that you're pro-gay marriage. Why wouldn't you be okay with just this civil partnership, not defined as marriage? What makes you want to go that extra step to make it marriage?
Because they want it. They want to have that same right that everyone else has to get married. If you want to have the word marriage with you, then go right ahead. A civil partnership, that's a partnership. It's basically the same thing, but it isn't, because that word marriage it just makes you feel happy about yourself. I have someone who's here with me.
Thank you. Candidate Pagano?
I believe that marriage can not only be between a man and a woman. I believe that marriage can not only be between a man and a woman, but also between 2 men or 2 women. Love is universal, and the government should not be able to restrict individuals on that. The institution of marriage for a man and woman express love, express commitment to each other, and I believe that same-sex couples should have the same opportunities as a man and a woman.
Thank you. Candidate McGrath?
I think that same-sex marriage is very important today. I mean, personally, I know that my cousin, she's actually bisexual. She's dating a woman, and she always talks about how marriage is more than just a civil partnership. It's the title. It's knowing that you are equal to a man and a woman getting married, and like knowing that the government will respect you. And today, there are 9 million homosexuals, so there's 9 million people being denied the title of marriage if they want it. And I think that, well, actually, there was a study at UCLA, and it said that most people who are homosexual, they're actually born with it. It's a psychological thing. So I think that it's not necessarily their fault. It's not their fault that they like the same sex as them. So they should not be denied the right to get married and the rights that come with marriage. For example, people today are being denied over 2,000 rights just because they're called a civil partnership, not a marriage. And I think that's unfair to them.
So you said they're being denied these 2,000 rights. So if you institute gay marriage, what kind of rights would you say that they're gaining through this?
Well, they will gain rights that a man and woman have through marriage, like they can't, the right not to testify against their spouse in court, Social Security, survivor benefits, just inheritance benefits too.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Candidate Vandenberg?
Well, first, not allowing gay people to get married is minority discrimination. America is an equal place, so we pride ourselves on equality. So civil partnerships is not equal to marriage. So just because you're gay does not mean you should not be treated equally. A great example of this is Reynolds versus United States in 1787 was it was a religious court case where the Supreme Court anonymously declared that the separation of church and state, and it's not what most people think, as in it's that just because your religion says something doesn't mean you can do it, doesn't mean it's the law of the land. So when you think about it this way, that just because some people's religion says that gay marriage is not right and the Bible says whatever the people want to believe, that doesn't mean their religion can carry into the government. So just because they don't believe that this should be the way it is, that doesn't mean the government is supposed to be equal, and that's not equal if they're treating them like that. So I believe that gay people should have all those same rights as a man and a woman.
Thank you. We're going to start our next question with candidate Pagano. Some claim if gay marriage bans are unconstitutional, so are polygamy bans, etc. How would you respond to such a statement?
I believe that gay marriage is similar to, that should be treated equal as between men and between a man and a woman. Polygamy is a totally different situation and is between different spouses, which is unconstitutional.
Thank you. Candidate McGrath?
Well, similar to Governor Pagano, I believe that same-sex marriage is the same as traditional marriage. Polygamy is on a different, it's kind of like a different aspect of marriage. I think it should be unconstitutional. But same-sex marriage, you do not get to choose who you like. Polygamy, you get to choose how many people you marry. So I think that same-sex marriage should be considered legal over polygamy because it's not necessarily your choice that you like someone else. And if it is, you should have the same rights as people who are married traditionally.
Candidate Vandenberg?
Yes, I believe Senator, Governors Pagano and McGrath here, that polygamy is you have more than one person in the relationship, and that, I mean, you can exceed it to as many people as you would like. Same-sex marriage and traditional marriage it's more of like a social acceptance, I guess. It said in the Reynolds versus U.S. case, it's unacceptable. They declared it unacceptable, polygamy as a common value. So I believe that same-sex marriage should be legal, but once you go into other multiple relationships, then it gets sketchy, and America cannot accept that.
Okay, thank you. We're going to go to our next question. We're going to start with candidate McGrath.
I got skipped on that question.
Oh, you know, I'm sorry.
It's
Go.
fine. It's okay. What I was astonished that none of my candidates else pointed out, polygamy, has anybody seen the show Sister Wives? That has made thousands of dollars, and that he has multiple wives. I'm not saying it's not unconstitutional, but it's two separate spheres. You have traditional marriage, and then you have what other people say any other marriage that isn't correct. You have a man and a woman, that's two people, that's a traditional marriage. A man and a man, that's two people, that's a traditional marriage in my eyes. Same with a woman and a woman. So that clearly is constitutional if that's how they're going to do it. If they're saying, oh, polygamy, there's too many people involved. Okay, well, there's only two people involved for same-sex marriages, so that's constitutional. But polygamy, on the other hand, there's multiple people. That's multiple relationships going on. And unfortunately, what people believe, it hasn't shown light, but people still watch that show, Sister Wives. And it seems that they don't really mind that that man has multiple wives. Maybe he just loves them all. There is a possibility to love numerous people. But as of right now, same-sex marriage, constitutional in my eyes. Polygamy, it's another battle we can handle during my presidency.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go to candidate McGrath. The Supreme Court has decided to hear two cases regarding same-sex marriage. Many of the arguments involve the fact that same-sex couples do not receive the same benefits as other couples do. How do you plan to solve this inequality among citizens? You touched on this earlier.
Yes. Well, first of all, I think the step is making same-sex marriage constitutional. And that way they get all the same rights as the traditional marriage, a man and a woman. And a woman and a woman can get the same rights as a man and a woman then. One of the court cases is actually about a woman whose wife just died, or partner just died. And she actually got denied Social Security rights. So first I'd like to help them get more inheritance rights. Like if your partner does die, you should have a right that a man and woman have because technically you're still in love with that person, you're still dedicated to that person, so you should get the same rights as a married couple. Also, again, like the right not to testify against one's spouse, such as Social Security survivor benefits, just any benefits that a man and woman gets. Someone who is homosexual should get the same rights.
Kenneth Vandenberg?
Yes, in my eyes, it's very simple. Once you legalize that same-sex marriage is legal, then they should get the same rights automatically. So the Defense of Marriage Act, we believe, is unconstitutional. That's what one of the court cases is being, the Supreme Court case is being held to hear about, and that is unconstitutional. So they should get all the same rights. I mean, it's basically simple. Once they should be allowed to be married, and they deserve the same rights as each other.
Candidate Glacken?
So as everyone has pointed out, one of the court cases they'll be hearing is the Defense of Marriage Act. And I believe the same thing as everyone else. If once it becomes legal to have same-sex marriages and constitutional, they should get the federal benefits. It helps them. I mean, everyone realizes that sometimes you need a little help from your significant other or your spouse, and they can't get that. They can't help them. Especially when I actually had to bury my husband, I was still a teacher. I wasn't making a lot of money, and I needed some of the money from his Social Security that I could use because, yes, I am his spouse. I understand that. But I don't understand why this woman who has to go through the torture of losing her lover and everything can't get the same. So honestly, it's like he said, it's simple. They get the same benefits as everyone else does who gets a traditional marriage.
Thank you. Candidate Pagano?
Like I said earlier, love is universal, and that should be expressed